Karen mocked my retired military badge, so I invited Congress to tour my facility. Have you ever been belittled for something you poured your heart and soul into, only to turn the tables in a way no one saw coming? In the heart of a small Virginia town, retired Colonel Marcus Tate stood in the local community center, proudly wearing his military badge on his blazer. The badge, a symbol of his 30 years of service in the U.S. Army, gleamed under the fluorescent lights. Marcus had dedicated his post-military life to running a cutting-edge veteran rehabilitation facility, a haven where wounded warriors rebuilt their strength and purpose. Tonight, he was presenting his facility's progress to the town council, hoping to secure funding for expansion. The room buzzed with anticipation until Karen Wheeler, a local real estate agent with a knack for stirring trouble, stood up. "You call that a badge of honor?" Karen's voice cut through the room like a knife, dripping with disdain. She pointed at Marcus's chest, her manicured nails glinting. "Looks like something you bought at a thrift store. Why should we fund your little pet project when we could use that money for a new shopping plaza?" The crowd gasped, and Marcus's jaw tightened. Karen's smirk grew as she continued. "I've seen your so-called facility. It's just a glorified gym for has-beens who think they're still heroes." The room fell silent. Marcus's hands clenched, but he didn't flinch. Karen's words weren't just an attack on him. They were a slap in the face to every veteran he'd helped. He'd faced worse than Karen in combat zones, but this was personal. Her mockery of his service, his badge, and the men and women he served ignited a fire in him. He wasn't about to let her win. Marcus took a deep breath and stepped to the podium, his voice steady but laced with steel. "Mrs. Wheeler, you're entitled to your opinion, but you don't know the first thing about sacrifice or what we do at the facility. My badge represents 30 years of service missions in Iraq, Afghanistan, and places you'll never understand. As for our glorified gym, I'd be happy to show you what we really do. In fact, I'll go bigger." He paused, scanning the room. "I'm inviting Congress to tour our facility. Let them see the truth. Then we'll talk about who's a has-been." The crowd erupted in murmurs. Karen's face flushed, but she doubled down, tossing her hair. "Congress? Please, you're bluffing. They'd never waste their time on your little operation." Marcus just smiled. He wasn't bluffing. He'd spent years building connections in D.C., and he knew exactly who to call. The next morning, Marcus was on the phone with his old friend, Senator Clara Hayes, a former Army officer who'd served alongside him in the Gulf War. Clara didn't hesitate. "Marcus, if you're inviting Congress, I'm in. I'll bring others. Let's show them what you've built." Within days, Clara rallied 3 other lawmakers, 2 representatives, and a senator who agreed to visit. Marcus didn't stop there. He reached out to local media, veteran organizations, and even a documentary filmmaker who'd been itching to cover his work. The tour was shaping up to be a spectacle, and Karen had no idea what was coming. As the day of the congressional visit approached, Karen's smugness spread like wildfire. She took to social media, posting on the town's community page. "Marcus Tate thinks he can impress Congress with his rundown facility. Good luck with that. Waste of money." Her posts racked up likes from her clique, but they also caught the eye of someone unexpected. Lila Monroe, a young veteran who'd been through Marcus's program. Lila had lost her leg in Afghanistan and rebuilt her life through the facility's innovative prosthetics and therapy programs. Furious at Karen's ignorance, Lila shared her own story online, detailing how Marcus's facility gave her the strength to run marathons again. Her post went viral, amassing thousands of shares and comments like, "This is what real heroes do," and "Shame on Karen Wheeler." The tide was turning. The day of the tour arrived, and the facility was a hive of activity. Veterans in wheelchairs with prosthetics or battling PTSD walked the halls, sharing their stories with the visiting lawmakers. Senator Hayes, flanked by her colleagues, marveled at the state-of-the-art equipment and the community Marcus had built. The documentary filmmaker captured every moment veterans lifting weights, learning coding skills, and mentoring each other. One congressman, visibly moved, wiped tears as he listened to Lila recount her journey from despair to running a 10K. "This isn't just a facility," Lila said, her voice strong. This is where we take our lives back. Karen, however, wasn't done. She showed up uninvited, dressed to the nines, clearly expecting to steal the spotlight. I'm here to see this amazing facility for myself, she announced, her voice loud enough to turn heads. Marcus, ever the gentleman, welcomed her. Please, Mrs. Wheeler, take a look around. Karen strutted through, her heels clicking, tossing out comments like, this equipment looks expensive. Hope it's not taxpayer money. But her bravado faltered as she saw the veterans' determination and the lawmakers' genuine awe. Then came the twist. As Karen tried to corner Senator Hayes with a pitch for her shopping plaza, a young man in a wheelchair rolled up. It was Tommy, Karen's nephew, who'd been quietly attending the facility for months to recover from injuries sustained in a car accident. Tommy had kept his therapy private, but now he spoke up. Aunt Karen, this place saved me. After my accident, I thought I'd never walk again. Marcus and his team gave me hope. You're wrong about them. The room went quiet. Karen's face turned beet red. She stammered, "Two didn't know you were here, Tommy." Senator Hayes raised an eyebrow. Maybe you should have listened before you spoke, ma'am. Karen's world crumbled. The lawmakers, now joined by a growing crowd of veterans and supporters, turned their attention to Marcus's presentation. He detailed the facility's impact. 85% of participants returned to work or school, 60% reported improved mental health, and countless families were reunited with hope. The documentary filmmaker caught every word, and the media scribbled furiously. Karen, realizing she was outmatched, slipped toward the exit, but not before Lila called out, "Mrs. Wheeler, you're welcome to come back and learn something next time." The crowd chuckled, and Karen fled, her heels echoing in defeat. The aftermath was swift. The congressional visit secured federal grants for the facility's expansion, and the documentary aired on national television, earning Marcus a commendation from the VA. Karen's social media went silent, her reputation in tatters. The town council, swayed by the outpouring of support, voted unanimously to fund Marcus's program. Tommy, now walking with a cane, became an advocate for the facility, even confronting his aunt privately about her behavior. "You didn't just mock Marcus," he told her. "You mocked all of us." Marcus stood outside his facility weeks later, watching veterans train in the new wing. His badge, still pinned to his chest, felt heavier not with burden, but with pride. He turned Karen's venom into a catalyst for change, proving that service and sacrifice could outshine ignorance. The community rallied around him, and his facility became a beacon for veterans nationwide. What would you do if someone tried to tear down something you'd built with your heart and soul? Marcus chose to fight with truth and action, not anger. Share your thoughts. Where do you stand on the line between standing up and striking back?